This is the manga recap. Today we're going to be talking about chapter 544, mostly translated as Even Hell Has Off Days, which is out of the translations. I thought that was the better one. We're going to be talking about everything panel through panel. We're actually going to have the window open so we could look at it and see if anything, and if we miss anything, you can contact us. You ready, Ed?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, so it starts out with a very odd Sanji title page, where he is dressed as an Okama, or a transvestite as we more likely know it as.
Yep.
This is the second part in the two-part title page story we have right now. It's short-term focused, so I assume...
Well, yeah, we don't know really what that means. That could mean that they're going to do a short bit on every Straw Hat and what they've been up to ever since they've been dispersed throughout the seas, but we don't really know that. Nothing's been confirmed yet, so...
we could hope that. I mean, I'm curious as to what's been going on. It's been a while.
I hope for it. I want to have to wait, 20 weeks to see what's going on with each crew member.
Minimum. I mean,
Yeah.
if we're going to Marine headquarters, it could be a while.
Oh, boy.
So anyway, we're seeing a little bit of what's happening with Sanji. I also don't really want Sanji's thing to last, 15 chapters. But anyway, we'll go to the second page here. The chapter begins with Blackbeard lecturing Luffy about why exactly he went after Ace and why exactly he isn't going after Luffy. And Crocodile's listening to the whole thing, of course.
And we have a little bit of a flashback to the beginning of the Ace Blackbeard fight.
I'm sure in the anime that'll be around 10-15 minutes. I mean, I can't complain that much, though, because we're going to get... They've been doing pretty well with the pacing so far in the anime.
We have. Moving on to page 3 here. Let's see. This Blackbeard more going on again about how he found Ace and how he found out Ace was Luffy's brother.
And we see that the whole crew is with him.
And each crew member of the Blackbeard Pirates makes a little bit of a speech there.
I think what this is really going into is the tension here between Blackbeard and Luffy, and exactly where this is going to lead. I mean, this is all Ichiro Oda just platforming upwards, as he usually does, planting little things. Yeah. I mean, I've been rewatching this series a lot lately. I've been showing my friend through the entire series again, and you just see how much he plants everything, and you'll see later in the chapter just how much he does that. Page 4 continues on, and we see how Luffy responds to, all the lecturing from Blackbeard.
And in short, not well.
I mean, Luffy never really responds that well to this kind of stuff. Yeah. He responds, what do you call it? Impulsively to all of this.
Yes, by punching him right in his stomach.
And it's not going to work out that well, in any case, but luckily someone stops him eventually. But
right.
I'm going ahead of myself right now.
All right, here on page 5, basically we have Blackbeard grunting and the entire crew of the Blackbeard Pirates sort of reacting, and
Luffy yelling.
Luffy declares that he's not going to let Ace die, and he begins...
Which has pretty much been this entire arc. Great arc, but that is pretty much all he's been saying in this entire arc.
And at the bottom of the page, Luffy goes gear second, and Blackbeard activates his Yami Yami no Mi darkness powers.
Which we still haven't seen a ton of, but we know it's incredibly strong, and we know Luffy's not cut out to really deal with that at the moment, even if he has been getting stronger. And we haven't really seen him, though. I was talking the other day about we haven't really seen him fight anyone alone since Lucci, so we don't really know how much further he is along. But, according to Blackbeard, he's stronger. Anyway, Jinbei ends up cutting in.
Actually, no, first we see that Blackbeard uses his powers to nullify Luffy's rubber powers.
Right, because that's what he could do.
And Crocodile expresses surprise that Blackbeard could make Luffy bleed, even though he thought that Luffy was made out of rubber.
And Luffy doesn't plan on stopping, but Jinbei comes in and just stops him and talks some sense into him. It's, you're gonna die, or you're not gonna get any further by doing this. Ace is gonna die if you continue to try and fight this guy. Even though he might be the one who caught Ace, revenge isn't the number one thing here, and that's been a big theme throughout this.
And also, Jinbei goes a little bit into Blackbeard's sort of backstory about how even when he was with the Whitebeard crew, no one really knew what to make of him. Now that he has this great power, people know even less less of what to do about him.
And he's been a mysterious element in the series, and if I were to venture a guess, I think he'd be one of the major people at the end, but we'll go into that even more as we continue. I think it might be the next page or two. Mm-hmm. And he continues on telling him not to waste his energy on Blackbeard. And then Crocodile starts questioning Blackbeard, talking about how he had been his replacement, asking more about exactly why he was in Impel Down, which we still don't really know. I mean, it was a huge surprise to me to see Blackbeard in Impel Down. I mean, that's the last thing I would have expected. And this entire arc has just been people coming out of nowhere. I mean, we've seen all the Shishibukai within 2 arcs. I mean, it's been a pretty amazing story so far, even though we haven't had the whole crew together. And I hope we do too. I hope we have them together soon, but this has still been a great ride so far, and I hope it continues. And I hope we get as much information as we have been getting.
So continuing on here to page 9, Crocodile and Blackbeard sort of continue their little banter they have going on, their antagonistic banter. And then Magellan
as their egos allow. Magellan shows up and kind of interrupts things, though.
And he sort of does one of his poison attacks, his poison snake attack.
Hydra.
Yes,
that's what it's called.
Mm-hmm. Moving on to page 10 here, Magellan sort of surveying the area. We see Hannibal with his face pretty much crushed in here.
And a female Eva starts telling everyone that they need to get back upstairs, just get as far away from this situation as possible, get away from Blackbeard, get away from Magellan, and go to level 3.
And Blackbeard comments that the panic is a good thing for him. So sort of it follows his need of what he needs to do.
Which we don't know. I mean, he kind of introduces with Crocodile that he has a much larger plan. And, I mean, for most of us up to this point, we kind of thought his plan was to be Shishibukai and kind of get his name out. Which makes sense, since he has a 100 million berry bounty at the time.
We probably shouldn't have just thought that, because of the D in Blackbeard's name. None of those people were ever completely normal, and they always have little plans going on in the background. So I think that, I don't know, they probably should have noticed that from the beginning.
But I mean, all those things are hard to notice right away. But once you have a retrospect on it, once you have perspective on it, then we could really see where Oda was trying to take us, and I think we're starting to get a little more perspective on this. Let's continue though with the recap.
Yeah. All right, moving on, we get the demon guards, the animals from
the Minotaurus.
The Minotaurus, yes.
Crocodile explains exactly what these animals are. I mean, most of the characters in this arc have been, I don't know, kind of one-sided, but I think we're starting to see a little bit more of what they are. I mean, we've had a lot of recurring characters, mostly from Baroque works, which I'm very happy about, since a lot of those characters were some of my favorites, like Crocodile. And Mr. 2 just really, I guess, blossomed would be the word.
Blossomed like a beautiful flower.
Like a beautiful flower. But now we're seeing that these demon guards are apparently awakened zone fruit users.
Whatever that means.
We assume that means they wake up very quickly. We're not exactly sure what that means, but I'm sure there's a lot of implication down the road. Hopefully with Diaz Drake.
And possibly Dr. Vegapunk, considering what he's been able to do with devil fruit powers and weapons.
Everything that's mysterious, I think, as Luffy would say. We might attribute to Vegapunk at this point.